La Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we are on the second chapter of our book, Krishna Consciousness, the Topmost Yoga System. This is chapter 2 entitled Yoga and the Master of Yoga. So as we saw last time, chapter 1 was based on a talk given by Srila Prabhupada in 1971 in the University of Florida, in Gainesville, and where Srila Prabhupada is addressing a number of students. Chapter 2 here, however, is actually taken from an article from the Back to Godhead magazine written by Srila Prabhupada in 1969. So it's interesting how this book, it appears that every chapter is going to be derived from a different source, but beautifully put together to give us the message and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. So let us start studying this chapter. Srila Prabhupada says, yoga means the connecting link between the soul and supersoul, or the supreme and the minute living creatures. So yoga means to link. Like in modern day Indian languages like Hindi, they say yoga means to connect. Lord Sri Krishna is that supreme, the personality of Godhead, being therefore the ultimate object of yoga. Krishna's name is Yogeshwara, the master of yoga. At the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, where there is Krishna and where there is Arjuna, the greatest of women, there undoubtedly is victory. So this is one of the last verses of Bhagavad Gita. You can see here on the screen, 18 chapter 76th verse. Yatra Yogeshwara Krushno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, Tatra Shri Vijayor Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So here's the conclusion of Sanjay saying that wherever there is Krishna, the master of mystics, wherever there is Partha, right, the son of Pratha, Arjuna, the Dhanurdara, the master bowman, there will be these things. First thing, Shri, there'll be opulence. Second, there'll be Vijaya, there'll be victory. Bhutir, there'll be exceptional power. Dhruva, certainly. Nitir, there'll be morality. Right? So these kind of things will always be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things. Opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Okay. So that's what Sanjay's conclusion is. So Srila Prabhupada is trying to say, Krishna, the master of mystics. The Bhagavad Gita is a narrative spoken by Sanjay, the secretary of Maharaj Dhritarashtra. This is just like airwaves from a radio. So here Prabhupada is trying to explain to new people that Sanjaya, when he's narrating the entire events of Mahabharata, including Bhagavad Gita, which comes in Mahabharata, they are both speaking in the palace, and the war is going on in the battlefield in Kurukshetra. So how did they know the events that were happening? Because Sanjay had an ability that he could see, right, through meditation, through divine meditation, he could see what was happening. So Prabhupada compares this to modern day airwaves radio. In today's age, you can compare it to streaming online, like live streaming going on. But Prabhupada's time, 1969, he was comparing to airwaves radio, where something is happening somewhere else. You are sitting in one place and you can hear what is going on. Right? So Prabhupada says, just like airwaves from the radio, the play is going on in the auditorium, but you can hear it from your room. So just as we now have such mechanical arrangement, at that time, there was also certain arrangements, although there was no machine, but there was mysticism. Like there was no machine, but people had siddhis. Today we have science. That time they had siddhis. Today we have machines, right? That time they had mystics. So they have ability, similar to now. Those days in 1969, Prabhupada speaking about airwaves and radios and FM radios, capturing frequencies and replaying it, right? And having those large, discs where gramophones which actually play records. Nowadays, we don't have all that. We don't even have CD players anymore. We all have everything digital, everything is streamed live, everything is stored on the cloud, stored somewhere. So times are progressing, but the functionality is the same. Anyways, Prabhupada says, the secretary of Dhritarashtra could see what was going on in the battlefield. And he was in the palace, telling this to Maharaj Dhritarashtra, who was blind. Now the conclusion made by Sanjay was that Krishna is the supreme personality of God. When the yoga performance is described, it is said that Krishna's name is Yogeshwara, Yoga Ishwara, the master of yoga. No one can be a better yogi than the master of yoga, and Krishna is the master. There are many different types of yoga. Yoga means the system, and yogi means the person who practices the system. right? Like jnana and jnani, karma and karmi. These are the systems, and these are the people who practice those systems. The object of yoga, the ultimate goal is to understand Krishna. Therefore, Krishna consciousness means to practice the topmost type of yoga, because Krishna is the best personality and he is the greatest of all the teaching. So if one wants to practice yoga, if one practices Krishna consciousness, that is the topmost of all yogas, because Krishna is the topmost. This topmost yoga system was described by Krishna in the Gita to his most intimate friend, Arjuna. In the beginning, the Lord said that this system can be practiced only by a person who has developed attachment for it. This Krishna conscious yoga system cannot be practiced by an ordinary man who has no attachment for Krishna. So here's a nice line. Prabhupada saying that actually this Krishna conscious process, this Krishna conscious movement that we are in, cannot be practiced by someone who does not have attachment for the Lord. Therefore, we, in the beginning of meeting anyone new, we tell them, please chant the holy names, please come and take darshan, please associate, please take prasadam. Try to develop your attraction for the Lord. For it is a different system, the topmost, bhakti-yoga. Right? Bhakti-yoga is very rare. Then Prabhupada goes on to say, there are 5 types of direct attachment and there are 7 types of indirect attachment. Okay. Indirect attachment is not bhakti. Direct attachment is called bhakti. So what this is, let us see from a verse here. These are the 5 primary rasas or mediums or mellows of exchange that one can have with God, and the 7 secondary rasas. So the 5 primaries here are given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Actually, they're all given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. It is just also, more details there. But of course, initially, it's all teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Shanta Dasya Sakya Vatsalya Madhura Rasanam Krishna Bhakti Rasa Madhye E Pancha Pradhan. These are the 5 main chief transcendental mellows or rasas that one can have with the Lord, which are Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. Shanta means in the mood of neutrality. Dasya means in servitude. Sakya means in friendship. And Vatsalya means in parental affection. Madhurya means in conjugal love. These are the 5 main rasas, and this is called bhakti, Prabhupada saying. This is the attachment in bhakti. Now let's see the 7 secondary rasas. Hasyadbhutya Veera Karuna Raudra Bibhatsa Bhai Panchavidha Bhakti Gauna Sapta Rasa Hai. So he's saying that in addition to this, there are other types. Hasya means laughter. Someone has a relationship with the Lord in just laughing, Adbhuta, in wonder. People always wonder in the Lord. Seeing the Lord, they're always in wonder struck. Virya, chivalry. They're looking at Lord as a hero. That's it. Karuna, really, really compassionate. Raudra, in anger. Vibhatsa, in disgust, disaster. Okay, and bhai, in fear. So why these are not considered bhakti? Because they are a little separated in the proximity, separated in the closeness, a little far distance from the Lord. These are like neutral or lesser than neutral observance. And sometimes these rasas are also practiced by those who are inimical to the Lord. How? Prabhupada will explain continuously. If you attach to Krishna by the direct method, the 5 rasas, it is called devotional service. And if you attach to Krishna by an indirect method, the 7 rasas, it is not devotional service. But that is also attachment. It is attachment, it is rati, but it's not prema. Right? This is what Prabhupada wants to say. In the sense, it's not love for God. Prabhupada gives an example. King Kamsa, for example, was the maternal uncle of Krishna. And there was a warning that Kamsa would be killed by one of his sister's sons. So he became very anxious about the sons of his sister. And he decided to kill his sister. Devaki, Krishna's mother, was saved by a husband, Vasudev, who made a compromise and proposed to his brother-in-law as follows. You are afraid of the son of your sister. So here is a bhay, bhayam. So your sister herself is not going to kill you. He requested, don't kill your sister. Like, why you want to kill your sister? You're only afraid of her sons. So don't kill your sister. Save her, and I promise that all the sons born of her will be brought to you. And if you like, you can kill them. This was what the Vasudev, Father of Krishna, promised. Vasudev did this in order that his poor wife might be saved. And Vasudev thought, when Devaki's son is born, Kamsa may have a change of heart. But Kamsa was such a great demon that he killed all the sons of Devaki. It was told that the eighth son of the sister would kill him. So when Krishna was in the womb of his mother, Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. So here's Kamsa's total attachment for Krishna, always constantly thinking, my death is coming, Krishna, 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 he was thinking. You may say that he was not Krishna conscious, but actually he was, because he was totally always thinking. But the way he approached Krishna was not out of love, was out of fear, bhaya, right? That's one of the 7 secondary rasas. Not directly, not for love's sake, but as an enemy. That's why the 7 rasas are considered not direct method, they're indirect. He was Krishna conscious as an enemy. So that is not devotional service. One in devotional service is Krishna conscious as Krishna's friend, Krishna's servant, Krishna's parent, Krishna's lover. This is the direct method. So it's very interesting for us to learn and know that we want to cultivate our Krishna consciousness in the 5 primary rasas, not the 7 secondary, because of all the reasons that I mentioned, no close proximity, no closeness, more of neutrality, observer, and also that the demons, sometimes they come under this category. You may want Krishna as your lover or as your son. You may want Krishna as your friend. You may want Krishna as your master. You may want Krishna as the supreme sublime, right? Shantaras. These 5 different kinds of direct relationships with Krishna are called devotion or bhakti. They entail no material profit. The concept of accepting God as a son is superior to the concept of accepting God as a father. So Prabhupada here wants to present that although many religions say that God is our father, yes, that is there, but to accept God as a son is far superior. Why? When you have God as a father, you are asking, getting, and forgetting, right? But when you take God as your son, you're giving, right? So that you're more concerned about their welfare than your own welfare. So the love is more. There is a distinction, Prabhupada says. The relationship between a father and a son is that the son wants to take something from the father. So we say God is our father means God, give me, give me, give me. The father's relationship with the son is that the father always wants to give something to the son. So we'll see in our scriptures, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata, they're always thinking what they can give Krishna, what they can do for Krishna. The devotee is always concerned about Krishna's welfare, not our own. Therefore, the relationship of God or Krishna as a son is better than the relationship with Krishna by one who thinks, if I accept God as my father, then my business will be to ask for my necessities from the father. But if I become the father of Krishna, then from the very beginning of his childhood, my business will be to serve him. So it is the mood in which actually we cultivate that God as our child, right? We want to give. The father is the parent of the child from the very beginning of his birth. Therefore, the concept of this relationship of Vasudeva and Devaki is sublime. Krishna's foster mother Yashoda is thinking, if I do not feed Krishna sumptuously, he will die. She forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and that he is sustaining the 3 worlds. God is feeding the entirety of the 3 worlds. But here's the devotee thinking that if I don't feed Krishna, Krishna will die. She forgets that only one Lord is supplying the necessities of all living beings. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. That's the shloka of this line. This same personality of God has become the son of Yashoda, and she is thinking, if I do not feed him nicely, he will die. This is love. She has forgotten that it is the supreme personality of Godhead who has appeared before her as a little child. This relationship of attachment is very sublime. It requires time to understand, but there is a position where instead of asking, oh God, please give us our daily bread, you can think that God will die if you don't supply bread to him. So instead of asking, we are feeling from our hearts that, no, I need to do this, I need to serve him. This is the ecstasy of extreme love. There is such a relationship between Krishna and his devotee Radharani, the greatest devotee, the greatest lover of Krishna. Mother Yashoda is his lover as a parent. Sudama is his lover as a friend. They're all in Prema Bhaktas. They're all loving God but in different capacities. Arjuna also as a friend. There are millions and billions of different kinds of direct devotees of Krishna. Like that everyone is loving Krishna in different capacities. So the yoga system as described here lead to bhakti yoga. And bhakti yoga can be practiced by persons who have developed attachment for Krishna. So we need to develop our attachment for Lord. Others cannot practice it, Prabhupada says. And if anyone is able to develop that attachment, the relationship will be that he will understand God, Krishna, perfectly. However, we may try to understand God by our different theories or speculations. It is still a difficult job. We may say that we have understood God, but it's not possible to understand him as he is because we have limited senses and he is unlimited. Right? So how much we try to understand God, we can only understand limit because we are limited. God is unlimited. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that our senses are imperfect, all of them. We cannot understand even the material world perfectly, right? We become victims to illusion. We may have seen so many planets and stars in the sky at night, but you do not know what they are. Right? At night, we see so many shining luminaries, but we don't know exactly, are they planets, are they stars, are they reflection, are they comets, are they meteors? You don't even know what the moon planet is. Though men have been trying for so many years to go there in Sputniks. So remember, this chapter is based on an article in 1969. Moon landing happened later, so-called moon landing, right? Happened later. The race for space happened in the 1970s. So this before that, Prabhupada saying, and Sputniks, because the Russians went there first in Sputniks, the cosmonauts. Even this one planet Earth, we do not know what varieties are there even on this planet. For those who have watched National Geographic or Discovery Channel, every time we are amazed. New kinds of civilization, new kinds of practices, new kinds of cultures, new kinds of animals, plants found. If you go to the sea, to the sky, your perception is limited. Our knowledge is therefore always imperfect. On that, we must agree. If we foolishly think that we have acquired all forms of knowledge and we have advanced in science, this is another foolishness. It is not possible. We are so small, we are so minute. How much we cannot grasp everything. And when it's not possible to understand even the material things which we daily see with our eyes, what can we say of spiritual world and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So we can't even understand the things around us. We can't even understand that I have eaten, how much has digested, how much has not digested. Even I'm not sure. So how can then we can say that I can understand God fully? He is a supreme spiritual form and it's not possible to understand him by our limited senses. Then why are we bothering so much about Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada gives his own argument. If you cannot understand God with your eyes and senses, then why are we bothering so much for Krishna consciousness if it's not possible? If these imperfect senses cannot realize Krishna as he is, the answer is that if you become submissive, if you develop the spiritual attitude of following Krishna, and you are a servant or a friend or as a parent or a lover, if you begin to give service to Supreme Lord, then you can begin to know him. So there is a possibility to know Krishna, but we have to become qualified for it. And that qualification is becoming submissive, developing a service attitude towards Krishna, favorable service attitude, and entering into one of the 5 main rasas with the Lord. In these 3 ways, we can actually understand or start to understand Krishna. This is actual developing real love. Your service begins with the tongue. Prabhupada just says that. How? Why tongue? Your service begins with the tongue. So actually, Prabhupada is quoting a verse that comes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indraye. So therefore now, right, the holy names of Krishna, Sri Krishna Nama Adi, etc. Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's everything, all these things, na bhavet grayam indraye. You cannot understand this with your senses, indraye. What do you have to do? Sevon mukehi jihvado. Sevon mukhe. You have to have a favorable service attitude. Unmukh means to face something. Bahirmukh is to face away from something. Sevonmukh is to serve something. So now all the jivas are bahirmukh They're turning away from Krishna. Through the preaching and through the connection of devotees, we are now slowly becoming unmukh. We are turning our face towards God. We are trying to follow. We are trying to be good people. That is still not enough. We need to learn to be sevonmukh. We need to learn to surrender and be submissive. Sevonmukhe hi jiva adho. It begins from the tongue. Seva to the Supreme Lord begins from the tongue. Swayameva spurati adaha. And by that, the Lord Swayameva, He Himself will manifest spurati personally in front of us. So why tongue? Prabhupada explains here. By the tongue, you can chant Hare Krishna, and by the tongue, you can taste Krishna prasadam, spiritual food. This is the two formula. Chanting Hare Krishna constantly and taking prasadam. This is the formula to be Krishna conscious. So the beginning of the process is very nice. It begins from the tongue. So therefore, whenever we go anywhere, we tell people to chant Hare Krishna, we tell people to do kirtan, we tell people to take prasadam. You can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And whenever prasadam is offered to you by Krishna, by his kindness, mercy, prasadam means mercy, you accept it. The result will be that you will become submissive. And if you begin this service, chanting and eating prasadam, Krishna will reveal himself before you. So this is the two main service. When people come to ISKCON, we wonder, how do we make people serious? We say, engage them in some service. The first service is service of the tongue, chanting and tasting. You can't understand Krishna by speculation. That is not possible because your senses are imperfect. But if you begin this process of service, then it will be possible. We have a lot of volunteer movements. We have a lot of volunteer activities. We call people to please come and stay in our temple. We want to just bring people to come and do some seva, whatever it may be, in the kitchen, in the garden, in the outreach, whatever it may be, just come. Because service begins with this. When they come with stay with devotees, they start chanting, they taste some prasadam. This is the greatest opportunity. One day Krishna will reveal himself to you. I am like this. Just as Krishna is revealing to Arjuna. Arjuna is a devotee and he is submissive and he is in contact with Krishna as a friend. Therefore, Krishna is revealing to him. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, not to any Vedantist philosophical speculator. So, Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, a simple devotee, not to any high scholarly person. In the beginning of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will note that Krishna says, I am speaking to you this ancient system of yoga. Puratanaha is a very ancient system of yoga. It is stated unto you, Arjuna. Why? Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was a fighter, he was a householder, married person. He was not even a sannyasi, not a renouncer. But these are not qualifications to understand Krishna. These are not qualifications to understand Krishna. Suppose I say I have become a sannyasi mendicant. That is not a qualification that I can know and understand Krishna. Then what is the qualification? This, Prabhupada says, one who has developed the service spirit with love and devotion, they can understand me. Only through bhakti, one can understand Krishna. It does not mean for any social position. No other, not the big scholars and mental speculators, but a child can understand Krishna if he has full faith in him. So faith and devotion qualify one. Simply by such faith and service, you will understand that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. Just as we are preaching Krishna consciousness, we are not wasting your time or our time because we are in full faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Theoretically or practically, you should accept Krishna as the Supreme Person, somehow or other. Theoretically, there is the revealed scriptures, Shastra is there. You will understand from Vedic literature, from the great devotees in the past and in the present. So through Shastras, you can understand that Krishna is the Supreme God, or through one's own personal experience, one can understand Krishna is God. For the present, there is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is a great authority. None is greater. He was mad after Krishna. And then after him, the 6 disciples, the Goswamis, have left an immensely valuable literature, especially Jiva Goswami. They have written volumes on Krishna. So under disciplic succession, we have come to this point. In the parampara, we have come to this point. And if you like past history, then go back a long, long time to Vyasadeva. He is known to have written the Srimad Bhagavatam and utter literature on Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but a description of Krishna. Vyasa is also a writer of the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita was spoken by Krishna and noted down by Vyas, who put this Gita into the Mahabharata. So like this, all great authorities, Sanskrit scholars, they are all claiming that Krishna is supreme. So Vyasadeva accepts Krishna as a supreme person. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, he has given descriptions of different incarnations. There are 25 of them. Right? We have heard of the 10 avatars, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, they give a list of 25 avatars. Actually, the Lord has innumerable amount of avatars. And in the conclusion, after giving the list of 25 avatars, he says that the descriptions are given of different incarnations are all parts of the representation of God. But Krishna is the supreme God himself. So this is a very important and famous verse that we have, that it's based on our Krishna, that is the whole entire basis of our Krishna conscious understanding. Ete cha amsa kalah pumsa. So all this list of 25 people, then he says all these ete are just nothing but amsha and kala. They are just nothing but plenary portions and portions of plenary portions. They are just manifestations of the Lord. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, but the original Bhagavan is Krishna. Indriyari Vyakulam Lokam, just to give protection to Indra. Mirdayanti Yuge Yuge, he comes in every yuga, Krishna. He is not part, but 100%. He is not an Amsha, he is not a Kala, he is actually Swayam Bhagavan. 100% God. So there is evidence of authority. And practically, if we believe in Shastras, the scriptures, then we can see who can be more powerful than Krishna, who can be more beautiful than Krishna, who can be more famous than Krishna. Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, but his knowledge, which he gave in the form of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, is still being worshipped. So like Prabhupada is hinting towards the 6 opulence of Bhagavan. What is Bhagavan? One who's full in knowledge, full in beauty, full in power, full in renunciation, full in fame. These are all different qualities, right? This is known as the opulences, 6 opulences that makes one God. So Krishna has all this in full. It is worshipped not only by the Hindus or the Indians, Bhagavad Gita, but it is read all over the world. In your country, there are at least 50 different editions of Bhagavad Gita written by different men. So Prabhupada speaking about the US crowd, there's so many scholars who have come and spoken about Bhagavad Gita. So everyone, Bhagavad Gita is very famous. Similarly, in England, in Germany, in France, in all other countries, you will find hundreds of editions of the Gita. So who can be more famous? There are many other evidences. If you believe in Shastra, Krishna married 16,108 wives, and he provided each of them with a big palace. And in each one of them, he had 10 children. And from 10 children, there were many other children born. So we have the evidence of revealed scriptures. And in the Brahma Samhita also, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a very old book, supposed to have been written by Brahma, the very first being, living being in the universe. In that Brahma Samhita, it is said, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The Param Ishwar, the supreme control is Krishna. Ishvara means God. And there are many gods. You see how Prabhupada writes here, capital G and small g. It is said that there are many demigods or devatas. And there is the supreme God or Bhagavan. There's a difference between Bhagavan and Dev. So Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the God of gods. So nice. He's God of gods. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And then Satchit Ananda Vigraha. And his body is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. His Vigraha, his body is Satchit Ananda. And next, Anadi. He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everyone. Anadir, Adir Govind. Go means census, go means cow, go means land. So when he says Govinda, right? He means he is the proprietor of all land. He is the proprietor of all cows. He is the creator of all senses. So like this Govinda means he is the master of all this. We are after sense pleasure, but our perfection of sense pleasure can be achieved only when we reciprocate our pleasure with Krishna. So everything in this world is measurable, right? If we try to reciprocate with anything, the amount of reciprocation we get is going to be limited. For example, here's a bottle of water and I'm feeling thirsty. I want to reciprocate or take something service from this bottle. How much? Bottle will go empty. right? So similarly, everything in this world has a timer clock on it. It's all limited. But if one wants unlimited happiness, then one has to reciprocate with Krishna. Therefore, his name is Govinda, the supreme original personality of Godhead. He gives pleasure to everyone. Govinda, pleasure to the senses. The same personality of Godhead personally spoke about himself to Arjuna in the Gita. How can you say that somebody, by his thinking, by speculation, can say something about God that is more important than what is being said by Krishna himself? Dear Prabhupada's argument is that so many people are saying so many things. Why do you take them seriously? Why don't you take Bhagavad Gita seriously? What do people know compared to what God knows? It is not possible. No one can speak better than Krishna about God because God himself is speaking. Right? If you speak about yourself personally, who can say more than you? Correct? If someone wants to express, who wants to talk about a person, it is better to hear from themselves. Right? That very person. I am best to explain about my heart, my feelings, my emotions, my nature. How many people from the outside try to understand me? No one can explain me. So similarly, when God himself is speaking about himself, that is the best method to understand. Why reject it? So if you have faith, if you believe theoretically or practically in Krishna as the supreme person of Godhead, then by the speeches that are delivered by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, you can understand God. There is no difficulty. In this way, Bhagavad Gita becomes so powerful. And if you believe Krishna, then the result will be that you can understand God, how he is working, how his energies are acting, how he is manifesting, what is this material world, what is the spiritual world, what are the living creatures, what is their relationship. So many things are to be found in God's literature. So these are the important questions. Probably we need to remember this. These are the important questions to ask when we're dealing with Shastra. Prabhupada continues to say the whole Vedic literature deals with three things. The first is your relationship with God, right? Then, next, after you understand your relationship with God, you can act in that way. So basically, first is Sambandha Gyan. Second is Abhideya Gyan, how you act in that relationship. Just as a man and women may not be related, but as soon as the relationship is established, that one is husband and the other is wife, then the dealings begin. So Sambandha means you set two people who never knew each other, they come together, one becomes husband, one becomes wife. Now they know their Sambandha, they know their connection. Now it's Abhideya, they have to act in that potency, act in that capacities. Once they understand their relationship with God, people generally believe that God is the Father and the Son's business is to ask Father for whatever he needs. But that is really a lesser relationship, Prabhupada is saying here. If you understand God perfectly, then there are intimate relationships also. Your intimate relationship will be revealed when you are perfectly liberated. Each and every living creature has a particular relationship with God, but we have for now forgotten. Like this is what Prabhupada is saying. All of us have a distinct relationship. We need to revive it. Right? Now we have forgotten it. When that relationship is revealed in the process of devotional service or Krishna consciousness, you will know that that is the perfection of your life. One will know. Krishna consciousness is a great science. It is not a sentimental speculation regarding love. It is based on scientific propositions described in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Vedas, and in the Brahma Samhita. And it is accepted by authorities like Lord Chaitanya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Narada, Asita, Vyasa. Right? This is also a verse that comes in Bhagavad Gita 10.12 and 13. There are so many authorities. Krishna consciousness is not an ordinary love-making or money-making business. It is a reality. And if you stick to it seriously, your life will be perfect. A wonderful line. So Krishna conscious movement is ISKCON, is not a love-making or money-making movement. The purpose is that we all re-establish our love for Krishna, become attached and attracted to Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, after giving up this body, one who knows me in truth does not come back again to this material world to accept a material body. So I hope you can remember this verse. We have seen it many times. This is 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvata tyaktva deham. Once you give up this body, Mameti. So Arjuna, you will achieve God. Then what happens to him? What happens to a person who is, after giving up the body, knows Krishna perfectly and goes to Krishna? He goes to Krishna, back home, back to Godhead. This Krishna conscious movement is directly giving people understanding of Krishna. We are giving knowledge of Krishna based on the authorized scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas. Veda means knowledge, and Vedanta means ultimate end of knowledge. What is that end of knowledge? That is Krishna. Vedescha sarvam mahameva vedyo. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, I am the everything you need to know about Vedas ultimately points to me. By knowing all the Vedas, the ultimate conclusion should be Krishna. This conclusion comes after many, many births. It's not so easy. After culturing knowledge for many, many births, when one actually becomes wise, then he surrenders unto Krishna. How can he surrender? He knows that Vasudev, Krishna, is everything. Whatever we see is simply a manifestation of the energy of Vasudev. One must be convinced on this point, and then he becomes a devotee. Krishna therefore advises that whether you understand or not, simply surrender to him. So if you're feeling very confused, what should I do? Just simply surrender, chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam. What Krishna taught in Bhagavad Gita, we are also teaching, Prabhupada says, without different manufactured ideas, nothing new invented. This is our Krishna consciousness movement. It is open to everyone, and the process is very simple. How does it begin? With the tongue, taking prasadam and chanting. We have our centers, ISKCON centers. If you want, you can take advantage of this movement. You are welcome. You will be happy. This is 1969, all right? The movement probably had around 6 or 7 centers only. They have not even gone to the UK yet. It's just around America. And Prabhupada is just so confident saying that if you take advantage of this movement, you are welcome. You will be happy. So like that, we end this second chapter. And we are eager to see third chapter. Where is it from and what else we can learn from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.